when did you, because I'm assuming like me and like most Americans, you grew up with parents who had jobs. And I know for me, I didn't even know what entrepreneur was. I didn't know it existed. So did you grow up understanding entrepreneurship, or did you not have no clue of what that was?
Yeah, both sets of our parents own their own businesses.
Each parent owned their own business.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this
so,
was
yeah,
automatic for you, right?
absolutely.
It feels weird to do the 9 to 5.
Oh my word, I did a 9 to 5. There's not enough stuff to do in the day. Like I'm done. Like I'm done by 5. I'm done in 5 hours. Can I go home? Like, no, you still have to stay here. Why? Why am done my work for the day? What am I doing? I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting here like playing with the computer. Let me just play the solitaire.
Awesome. I find that awesome. It's rare, but I wish and I hope more people realize that entrepreneurship is a great thing.
At this point, like I think when she was younger, she had 2 businesses going.
Wow.
Well, because my parents didn't believe in paying me for things that I should already do.
Right, sure. Yeah.
They said, like, you live here, so I'm not going to pay you to pick up your socks. I'm not going to pay you to put trash in the trash or to take. Oh, I didn't
take the trash out.
I didn't take the trash out, but like basically keep an eye on, take the bag out when it needed to be, and my dad would take it all the way to the trash can. Fine, but I'm not going to pay you for doing things that you should do when you're living here. So, no. So you can help us in our businesses and you can get paid. And then if you want a crazy pair of sneakers that cost $150, what you're going to need to do is find the other 75 things.
Yeah. So what I did was you help in the business, you get the money, and then you'd have to use some of the money. You have to learn how to budget. So some of the money, fun, just have a blast. And then some of the money was like for the things that you want for school shopping that you just knew they weren't going to get. Well, that was part of the money. So you had to figure out if you wanted, like, I want this much for school shopping and this much for fun. And then you would set it aside. One of the things that she did with her parents was she actually went around and collected stuff to recycle, like the bottles, and she would collect them. And then she would ask people to save them. And then she would give, like her dad, $5 for gas money to drive her around on her weekly route to pick them all up. And then she'd drop them off, and then she'd get the money. And then she'd save that money as an extra bit of money.
So my dad, like, he did it a couple of times for me for free. And he was like, well, I'm not teaching you anything. You need to give people gas money. And here I am, like
because she was like, you're an employee.
Right. Here I am, like a 7-year-old kid. Like, what are you talking about? I thought you did gas once, in the car.
Right.
But no, you give people gas money. They do you a favor, they pick you up, they do something, give them some money, even if they say no, but still give it to them. So that was our thing. $5 a week for gas. And he would just like turn around and we would get McDonald's or something. Like it really wouldn't go for gas. It would be like, did you want a soda? And they would use the $5.
Yeah. So
those are great principles.
And
really good principles.
And I did the 12-year-old thing where I was writing, I'd send the books out, and then people would give me the money to read the book. And that was my little side money, my side hustle.
So although it's difficult to say you're prepared, but would you still say after you actually became entrepreneurs, you can't say you knew everything, but you knew probably more than those just starting out as far as how to be entrepreneurs and how to get around the fears and how to get around the mistakes?
Well, I'm going to say that there always are fears, because you wouldn't be human if you weren't like just a little afraid. Something in the back of your mind, like, this isn't normal. Like you're about to step out and do something that's not exactly normal. But I think that we were more prepared in the way of this, that we knew that businesses have really great times and then the backslide, and then you get back to the good times and the backslide. But I like to tell everyone, in every company, you have the same thing throughout America. Like there are times where the soda industry is doing great, and there are times when the soda industry is not doing great. So when you're doing a business, you have to save for the times when you're not doing so great, or budget in a way that you make sure that the business can run itself if you don't have a couple of good months or years.
Exactly. That's definitely one of the things that we learned. And then I do feel
we learned that young though.
Yeah, I do feel we're a little a little more prepared because when I was 7 and I didn't want to go to bed, my mother was like, you know how to add and subtract and you can read. Come on, sit down. And I was like, well, mommy, what's this? And she said, taxes. And every year I got up with a pencil and I was like, I can stay up late. Woo! And I'm telling all my classmates, I'm staying up till 11 p.m. But I'm not telling them I'm staying up because I'm helping my mother with taxes. So like knowing what a Schedule C, knowing a 1040 by hand is important. These sorts of things, learning how to keep the books and, you know, figuring out how you're going to do the accounting. That was kind of fun. These sorts of things you learn.
I think that's amazing. I wish I grew up with that knowledge because it's not easy when you start learning it as an adult. It's like, oh my gosh, I got to know all this. Are you sure? Why didn't you? I mean, of course, the school system doesn't teach you those things. But I think it's amazing that you both grew up with that knowledge and those principles, and your parents realized that was important for living. So is this, you know, you have so many things, podcasts, books. I mean, is there anything else that you're thinking of that you might start doing as far as entrepreneurship?
We've done audiobooks, which I think is the natural progression from books, right? You want your books to be read so your fans can interact with you any way they want to. And also we've done fun things like make shoes, merchandise, like shoes.
This tennis shoe is like book cover of And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy, and the words on it are the poems titles.
Wow.
And then of course there's our brand from the podcast.
Wow, that's amazing.
And, like we did flask
and merchandise. So we took, because I think a lot of people don't recognize, especially authors, right? Everything that you write is your IP, your intellectual property. Now,
right.
What are you going to do with that said intellectual property?
You can do a lot.
You can do a lot. You can brand yourself. You can wear your own sweatshirt or tennis shoes. Because as I like to say, as we always say, you can go about wearing other people's brands, which is fabulous. Like do that because people need money and things, and that's the way it works. But also, can you afford not to wear your own brand of stuff?
Hence why we came up with a small clothing line right now,
like it's just merchandise and stuff.
Yeah.
So we can wear
dresses.
Right. So we have the mask now. We have the sweatshirts and stuff like that, because when people really are interested, where did you get that? And then we just put our website at the bottom so people they can Google it themselves and go at their leisure.
Okay, one of my favorite items that we have, besides that wine bottle
or the shoe.
Or the shoe. I love the wine bottle and the shoe, but then this is one of our original favorites that I like. It's the flask. I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy,
which is the title of one of our books, which is now an audiobook. And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy.
And then they have the shot glasses. So like if you see it at a book thing, you might see it like have the book and then the flask and then the 2 shot glasses on the side to say, and I thought being grown up was easy.
And you can sell that at a
book festival or set it up as a web store.
Right. Or you can sell it there as a package and people can go home with more than one thing. Like they might buy the book for themselves, but the flask and the shot glasses for 2 other people.
Right.
And I think the first thing that we normally sell out of, like at really busy ones, are the shirts.
Right.
The shirts and the pajamas and stuff. We sell out of those first.
In the flask also. They go super
so
quick. Fast. They go super quick. They're like always done within the first hour or 2. And everyone's like, I saw the flask. I want it. We're like, okay, go on the website and get it.
And the one thing that we have that's coming up is the board game made out of the TV script that I wrote. And we made an entire board game.
Wow.
And I think that's a really good idea for mystery writers out there.
Yeah.
Amazing. So pretend you're talking to someone who is on the ledge of becoming an entrepreneur, but they didn't grow up that way and they don't think they're good enough. They think they need more degrees, they need more this, they need more that. What advice would you give them to step out and just do whatever it is they know they can do?
If they're already doing it, you mean? Like
there's something they're doing, but they're not doing it for money, and they're too afraid to go full time because they don't feel that they have enough accolades to do it.
So start doing it for money. That's my first thing to tell you. Start doing it for money. because while you're working your regular job, right? And when you start doing this other job for money, then take that business money, right? Don't spend it, save it to reinvest later in your business.
So
So
if you
when,
ever
yeah,
if you ever decide to go full time, you have a little cushion that you built up for after you started doing your side hustle for money. That's your cushion for when you just like, okay, that's it. I'm walking away. I have enough clients. I have enough saved. I can go ahead and do this.
and that would help you to save quicker, right? Than your regular, just your regular job, right? Because you know you budgeted out your regular paycheck and you know how much you are putting in savings. But if you start doing that side hustle for money, then just make sure you direct it. Now keep $5-10 for yourself now because you did a good job. Buy
Maybe
yourself
50 if you
or
make good
50,
money.
but whatever it is, like buy yourself a good bottle of wine or a dinner, a steak dinner. Buy yourself because you worked hard for that. So do that, but then put all the other money, save it because make yourself a plan to walk away, to be able to leave, your exit strategy to leave your first job, right? And so if you know that, you know how many clients you need to do that, right? So if you're like, I charge my clients $200 a month, right? And I make $4,000 a month on my regular job, well, how many clients do you need? You'll figure that out. And then make sure as you're doing that though, make sure you recognize how much gas you're spending and what your business takes to keep it up. So write all of that down also. Write that down. Like how much is your website maintenance? Or if you have a person that does it, how much do you pay them per year, per month, for whatever? How much gas does it take for you to get to your clients if you're doing that? Or if you're just having Zoom, you're having like a really fancy Zoom, how much is that a month? Make sure you write down everything that you were spending because then you'll have a decent budget. So you'll know how long it's going to take you. And you can do it because so many people have done it.
Especially during COVID because they had no other choice.
They had no choice.
I consider that when COVID happened, I was like, oh, Jade, what are we going to do? And she's like, well, considering that we have like a 5-year jump, on the people who are going to just get into the market now, I think we're doing all right.
We have a lot to do. We still have a lot to do. And then you have to also, and I want to say, and I know Wilnona has a lot of stuff to say, so I'm going to stop talking and she's going to talk. If you are one of those people that want to advertise your business, figure out how much that's going to cost you a month in a year. So then you can have that saved also. I mean, you're not going to always have every bit of money saved that you need to have saved, but you want to be in a good spot. So when it doesn't take off the way you want it to take off, you're not stressed so much. And you're still going to be stressed, don't get me wrong, but not so much.
I was going to say that you should break it down, but then we figured out someone who's already doing something, they're just not getting paid for it. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with my original thing is to break down how you plan on doing your business. Even because if you have a full-time job and you're doing your business, you can afford a few more things, a few more bells and whistles than like say someone who's jumped out there and they're coming from nothing. So break down the necessities to keep your business running, because there will be some lean years. So months. So I normally break it down to when I start a business, I try to start it by saying the 5 essential things that I need to make my first bit of profit. And most of the time I walk away from a business if I can't start it off of $20, turn around and make 40. And if I can't make 40, then I don't have a business.
But that's not
true for everyone. It's right? True for me. That's how I think about things. But for everyone else, I'm sure you have a bigger budget and a bigger way of thinking, and you can maintain that profit if you did the saving that she said. But break it down to what you need, the barest minimum you need to keep your business running. 5 things. Try to do, if it's not enormous, try to make it 5 simple things. Because first, it makes it not so scary. When you step off the ledge, you're like, okay, I need step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do I have those things? Because these things will make me profitable. Or maybe not, but it'll make my business run so I can do it next week and the next week. So I say those are the most important things.
And one of them probably should be a website.
Oh, yeah. If you don't have
one of the 5 should be a website.
Actually, it should be like one of the first things you do.
I said one of the 5 essential things is one of them. Yes, I'm not going to tell you how to put it in order, but a website is probably one of the 5 that you definitely want to get. You can have social media, and that's great, and you should definitely get that, but you should definitely have a website because people are going to want to get off of social media and go somewhere to learn more. And if you have no place for them to learn more, you know where we live and what culture we live in, they're going to scroll up to the next person. Don't miss the opportunity. Okay, that's all.
That was a long bit of advice that we gave.
I know.
Apparently he needed a speech.
Oh, hell, he did. And here's another thing.
Well, thank you for that advice. I greatly appreciate it. I hope whoever sees this gets inspired to, go ahead and do what they know is in their head to do, but because of fear, they're not doing it. So my last question, and it's similar to the one I asked before. If there was an entrepreneur out there that you can work on a project with that inspired you through the years, who would that entrepreneur be?
Wilnona's mom.
It's the same answer for me. She built
Wow.
a business.
Wilnona's mom, hands down. I don't even know how she did what she did, but she did it, and she did it well. And she would literally see profit when nobody else would see profit. You'd be like, I don't think we should do this. She's like, no, seriously, we're gonna make like 120 percent back. Are we really? And it normally was right on the head, like literally. She would see, and it'd be the simplest things that nobody else thought of, or the touches that no one else thought of, that she would do and deliver. Her customers loved her for it. Also,
Amazing.
I would say my dad also, right? Because my dad's the one that taught me how to talk.
Yes.
He taught you, one of the things he always said was care about your client and your customer. Care. Like, really care. Like if they tell you their child is sick, when you see them next week, ask them how they're doing. Like care. Yeah, right? So
Yeah,
your mom, my dad, I feel like we got it covered.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, like I think
I did Wilnona. Yeah, like,
yeah.
I couldn't live, like she's a great person. She
whatever.
will keep you on budget like no one else.
That's the only reason she's like, I'm a great person right now, because like
She just keeps us on budget. You be like, I want this flippily flat pen. She's like, no, you don't. Because our budget says we only had this much money for flippity flap, and you've already spent it for flippity flap. So no more flippity flap for you. And you're like, oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Let's keep us profitable in the black.
I mean, otherwise you can't keep going year after year, especially like in lean times. We're still going. So, and it's COVID, and our biggest thing is in-person sales. So,
Right.
I feel like the budget is very important. But for me, it would also be my mother. But it would be, I don't think a day goes by or a week. I don't think a week goes by where I don't wish to like just ask her a question about this, because it's writing, and we've never made our money in creative space, a thoroughly creative space.
Yeah, we've never done that.
We've
before.
never done that before. It's always been like in a service industry, but it's something that someone needs, that you just saw. Like way back when I was like, oh, I think people need their groceries delivered to their home. So I started that,
Wow.
that sort of thing. And, oh, I think people need their, dry cleaning picked up. So kind of like shipped, but way before that kind of stuff. And so like, yeah. But to be in a thoroughly creative space, how, every week I'm like, I want to be like, mom, so I need to make this business decision. And it's a creative thing. I can see plain and clearly like a service industry, but this creative thing, oh, she would have turned this around and made it 1,000 times better by now.
Absolutely. Absolutely, she would have.